Whew.
Yeah, she sounds hot.
Yeah,
Recording in progress.
it's a turn on to start the meet to start the
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
My glasses are all
Told you
steamed
she
up. I have
likes.
to like wipe them off. So hey, Sean,
How's it going?
we got Sean back here for second time
Round
this
two.
year. He's one of our two timers.
Not much has changed since the last time we saw you. We're still in the same spots, except
Yeah.
this week. I don't know. Maybe you're beating me.
I don't know. I didn't. Sorry, Luke. I know you put your work into it. I didn't open the thing today.
That's what keeps me going, man. You know, the thought that people aren't even going to open this. Just kidding.
Mm.
Well, when you're in last place, it's like, okay.
Well, you gotta make a push. I mean, a lot of your stuff is innings and games. You know, you could
Yeah.
go nuts. You could go nuts before school starts again, and you know, could make up ground just by maximizing that.
I just don't have the like. I don't want to drop somebody to just start streaming pitching.
Right.
I mean, I could. There's probably pitchers I should just dump and start streaming, but
Well, not if you're looking to next year too. I mean,
Well,
well, yeah.
if they're part of the plan, you
I
gotta
picked
you
up
gotta
a
stick
pitcher
with it.
this week, Dakota Hudson, and he fucking just got fucking shelled.
I
Yeah.
was thinking that.
We're about halfway through this game. Ooh, that was yeah, so this hockey is about to end today, one way or another. It's the last game of the year
Unless
for
there's a game
certain.
eight, they might go to an eighth game, right?
No, they don't have game eight. They'll just keep playing this one until there's a clear winner. But I hope Edmonton's, I do. But like, oh, what I was going to tell you before, Dale Talon was the one that actually set up the Blackhawks for success for those years. It wasn't really Scotty Bowman. He did not do that. That was all Dale Talon's guys. That all those guys that came out of the minors and stuff. He made, was Scotty Bowman was dismantle that team through bad contracts that he signed with people stuff. So um Dale Talon went on to Florida. And now look at Florida. They're always in contention because that man knows talent. That's all I got.
I was going to say, even after he left, you could see the talent marks in that team.
Mhm. Boned over, like, I guess some packs went out late and some restricted free agents. They did not, there was like three agents and they had to end up trading a couple of them because they weren't going to be able to afford them now because they missed this deadline or whatever. But from what I understand, general manager that missed the deadline, and that was Scotty Bowman, or not Scotty Bowman, Stan Bowman. So, yeah.
I will say that this 1-1 score scares me because Edmonton's been lighting it up, and this is playing at Florida's pace.
It's like it depends. Like, I mean, it's going, down to one end and it stays down there for a little while, comes down to the other end, stays there for a little while. It's like the other team can't get it from them. So it's they're not getting a whole lot of shots, but boy, oh boy, are they playing a good game of keep away.
Well, they're way faster than Florida.
Yep.
So after tonight,
Sorry,
it'll just be baseball until football camps open. This is baseball's time to shine.
yeah, and then training
College World
camp should
Series tonight
open
too, right?
towards the end of July. So we
Wait,
got basically to the end of July.
we have
You're
the
going to have the hockey draft
WNBA.
coming up.
Oh,
Yeah, NBA.
WNBA.
That's such a watered down version of what it used to be. The trades don't make sense. It just, you know,
What are you talking about?
a lot of these trades that I see in basketball don't make sense. It's like, okay, you're getting this great guy for two
Well, you're not
guys
talking WNBA then.
that are on expiring contracts and maybe half-ass fucking, you know, rookie and couple draft picks, and they're getting this superstar. You know, one team will get a superstar, the other team will get like a mishmash of just shit. And it happens a lot.
I hope the Nets have
Especially,
learned their lesson. I'm not convinced, but you know they've tried it 3 times by getting an instant winner, and guess what? It hasn't worked any of those times. You know, so
Well, the Bulls just made a trade this week, and it made, I mean, I don't watch the NBA anymore, but I know who Caruso is. Like, that was the dumbest trade ever. He
that's
was
what I'm
like,
talking about. There's just dumb
he's a
trades made
defensive
all the
stopper,
time.
and they got a piece of toilet paper back for
Well, the
him.
guy's not exactly a piece of toilet paper.
He got benched because he couldn't shoot in the playoffs.
He was having a bad day, but he was averaging like 13, 14 points a game. He's more of a passing guard than a so if you got somebody else back in the backcourt with you that can hit threes and is a good shot from the outside, you got a great complementary pair. Problem is, over there, they didn't have anything to complement him with. So I don't know. He's more of a slasher and playmaker. He's a good passer, and he gets rebounds too for a fucking shooting guard. But it is called shooting guard, and the guy can't shoot. So what do you got to say about that? I mean, hey, damn it, Florida, goddamn scored. Ugh.
you know, the Nets are lucky that the 76ers bailed them out with that Harden trade because they were stuck. I mean, that was not going to work out well. They just got bailed out by that because you know they made stupid trade with the Celtics and they didn't have a first round. I remember telling Sam when he was in high school, I was like, well, next time the Nets will have a first round pick, he'll be, you know, out of college. but, but anyway, so I'm
That's
glad
the
the
other thing about the
76ers.
NBA too. There's too many prima donnas in that league. There's always some kind of internal bullshit going on with some fucking team, some player feels disrespected. You know what? When you're getting 40 fucking $1 million a year to play goddamn basketball, there's nothing disrespectful about that. Sorry you don't like to be coached, but there's no disrespect in that.
You don't think JJ Redick's going to coach the Lakers?
Fucking, it doesn't matter who they put in there. LeBron's just gonna fucking shit it all up for
I know.
him. He's not the same guy he used to be. And he's gonna force his hand and get his son somehow drafted onto that team and then demand that he plays with him and all this other shit. I see it coming
I was
because
surprised.
LeBron thinks he's king shit and
I
he
was
thinks
surprised
everybody owes
Hurley
him.
didn't take that job. I mean, I think he made the right choice, but
Oh, I think he knew what he was going to see. Hell, I'm surprised. Probably LeBron was probably the one that interviewed him.
it would have been a complete disaster. Hurley, I'm not sure that he has the right, you know, mentality to coach in the NBA. You know, I
I
mean,
agree. He's a ball buster.
yeah, he's like a domineering guy, and they're not going to take that, you know, the NBA.
I'm making 50 million, 40 million, 30 million in a year. Fuck you. I'm going to do what I want.
Yeah.
I mean, I just thought for Hurley, if it was just dollars, it made sense because I don't know if he'll ever be as hot a commodity as he was right now. But I think it would have been a complete disaster. But you know, he could have always gone back to college. So money wise, it probably made sense for him to go. But people thought that he really didn't have any intention of taking that job, but he was able to get more money out of UConn by doing that. So because he had kind of painted himself in a corner early in the off season, kind of making it clear that he wanted to come back, or whatever. Like he didn't leave himself any sort of leverage. So I think by taking that Lakers meeting, he got an extra, I don't know what it was, $1 million out of he's the highest paid state employee in Connecticut. So he was making like $4 million. That's pretty good money, I think.
He probably gets a lot of.
I just want football to start.
Money.
What'd you say, Sean?
I'm sure he gets endorsements. He's not hurting for money.
Yeah. He's he's obviously a very, very good coach, but he's a real dick. Like you can just see it. Like he does this fake modesty at the end of the game. Like he sort of like shaking the other coach's hand, and he's kind of like, he's like, oh man, it was tough getting, it's like, it's all bullshit. Like somebody that's that over the top is like such a egomaniac.
Well, he's made some pretty, egotistical remarks in his post game conferences,
but it doesn't really matter. You'd rather him be an asshole and be a good coach than the other way around, I guess. Sometimes Gino Auriemma rubs people the wrong way, but I like Gino. So, I know Sean doesn't.
I think Gino's a dick. Hurley doesn't bother me. I don't know why, but
it's probably just part of his persona, Gino, he's from Philadelphia, he's got to be sort of a dick,
Well, should we get balls at Santa Claus?
Should we get right into the standings?
Sure, why not? Watch me take the 0-6. I'm sure I got it.
All right. So I've been just going over what has changed as opposed to going over the whole damn thing every time. And not too much has changed, really. Okay, I think you're seeing it. Yes.
Capital Knockers on the move. Now they're supposedly supposed to be in third place.
Yeah, so everything up here is the same. Sombreros is our lucky laggard still, but it's moved down to just 4 flat wins. It's like 4.7. So Sombreros are the largest underage in the innings and in games. So see, this is an area where you could really shore it up. But I know what you're saying. Like if you got somebody in your plans for next year, you don't want to sacrifice next year for this year. But yeah, Knockers. We're co-weekend warriors with Bazzotti, moved up 3 wins to take to 6-0, second consecutive 6-0. And McBride's lost 3.5 games off the what they were on pace for. They went 0-5, tied with Jeff Piechesny's. Is that how you say it? Piechesny's.
Yeah.
Piechesny's. They tied with them for the 0-5. One of the rare weeks we had an 0-5.
Hey, I'll take it. I'll take it. Better 0-6.
Chad
nice one. Got to win.
Chad emailed because he'd had a tie for the last 4 and 2. I had a tie the week before, and I don't know how. Usually when you get a tie, you're like, you just look at the negative side of it, like, oh my god, 1 more point, I would have had. But you could have had 1 less point and not gotten. So it's funny. You kind of look at the negative part of it. Like you don't look at like, oh man, I was lucky. I had that extra point, so I tied. It's always more like, damn, 1 point, and I would have, had the 5-1. But anyways, and Cows are our new unlucky Babbitt guys. So yeah, so the predicted top 4, Knockers now moved up to 3rd. Knocked McBride's down to 4th, and Spears not on here now, not in the top 4. So yeah, Knockers had the Mets' Francisco Alvarez as the cow. And Let's Play had Ohtani and Christopher Sanchez, top starting pitcher. McBride's had Gunnar Henderson. We've seen him up here a few times anyway. And we had a tie for the outfield. Alec Burleson, who's doing pretty damn well.
I didn't get any of those points, by the way.
Oh, he
was on the bench the whole time?
No, I just picked him up.
Oh.
He had a 17-point day on like Sunday, and I picked or Saturday. I don't know.
So you
I
don't
just
have the pride in the Burleson thing, but at least you got him.
Trying to catch lightning in a bottle.
yeah. Well, he's playing every day, and I got so many people hurt.
He had a hit tonight too. I don't know if it was an RBI hit. Can't remember. But yeah, he's still hitting. Nimmo, another Met. And, Sonny Gray for the Gags, second starting pitcher, and Kenley Jansen for the Cows, top reliever.
Hey, before we go off of this, I just want to ask one question. Should Trevor Bauer just be able, somebody should sign him, right?
I wouldn't touch him.
But he was totally like acquitted and of all that wrongdoing and shit. And even the girls that fucking came after him are getting busted for fraud now.
I don't know. I just wouldn't touch him. He was a pain in the ass even before then, you know. I don't know.
Pain in the ass, but somebody's going to need a pitcher.
You can find a pitcher, you know. Didn't he go up against the down boy guy and the guy got a hit off him or something like that? Wasn't there?
Then again, the thing is too is like, you know, maybe the guy comes back to the game a little more humble, knowing thing, you know.
I can tell you that I wouldn't touch him. I just wouldn't touch him. I mean, there's a reason that there's a. I don't think it's random that it happened to him in particular. You know, it's not like this is like happening to Lance Lynn or you know or Assad or something. You know, it's just it just is not worth it. It's just not worth it. You know, maybe in a fantasy league, sure, fine, but not in a real team. You know.
Sometimes crazy attracts crazy. I don't know. Who knows? You know, the guy could come back and be the model teammate, but then again, he could go back to being the same old jackoff he always was. It's interesting, though. It's just the pointing bait, or basically a point of debatement, you know. And
his career is already over. I mean, it's done.
He's still playing like a Mexican league somewhere.
That's good. Watch your women down there.
Yeah.
Oh, his mom must have been so proud. That's what I think about with these guys, like Mickey Callaway. When it came out, he like sexually harassed this reporter or something like that. I'm thinking like that guy's, you know, that poor wife. I mean, I'm sure she's the nicest thing around, and she's got to deal with this bullshit idiot that she married. I knew Callaway was an idiot the first spring training, by the way, so I'm not. I wasn't fooled. He was out there shaking hands in the berm with the Mets fans. I was like, don't do that shit. You know, just go and manage. You know, trying to be everybody's buddy or something. It's not going to work. You know, the first 5-game losing streak you have, you're not going to want to. You know, you're not going to want to turn the radio on in the car on the way home. You know, I don't know. He's a dope. And then the Indians the Guardians now, I mean, did just fine without him, didn't they? That was one of the reasons the Mets brought him over. It's like, well, he's got to be this pitching guru. You know, we'll bring him in. He wasn't the guy. You know, it's like the Jets GM, you know, taking credit for stuff that he did in Philly? I think he came from Philly. You know, he's probably just a guy sitting in the room with you know, very little responsibility, or at least decision-making responsibility.
Right.
All right. I'll get off.
It's normal to lie on your application, right?
What is it?
It's normal to lie on your application, right?
It's not lying. It's just like, you know, just because you came from the Baltimore Ravens or whatever, it doesn't mean like you were the reason that they, you know, had sustained success, you know.
True.
Probably it isn't because
well, look at like I said, look at the like I think I brought this up before, but how much of the stuff that Council did in Milwaukee was coming from his bench coach? You know?
Yeah, I mean, manager, I really don't think, I mean, head coach in football, that's a hell of a job. But baseball manager, as long as you can like rally the troops and they like you and respect you, and I think that's it. That's the only important quality, I think. As for what game management, like you can't figure that out. I think a lot of people could decide when to, when to put the reliever in. Oh, let's bring the lefty in. You know, it's not, to me, it's not like, oh, what a genius move. I don't know. It's just,
Yeah, but a
That's the
lot of
guy that
times
comes
they
up
don't
with the
do
hit
that
and
with the
runs.
bullpen.
what is it?
It, right.
A lot of times they don't do that with the bullpen. They like totally shit their pants and don't make the proper move that everyone else is looking at.
I don't know. I think that's the thing. You know, that's the reason that I couldn't be a baseball manager is because they're not going to listen to me. Like, who the fuck are you?
Thing too, the managers do, a lot more than what people think. I mean, number one, they've got to basically be the therapist for half these guys on the team. But besides that, you're the one calling the hit and runs. You're the one calling the stolen, when the guy was going to steal. You're the one, calling for a bunt here and there. And it's
It's
just,
pretty simplistic, though. I mean,
depending on what the situations are.
there's no hit and run anymore.
You can
Everybody
do
is
stuff that
stealing
blows up in your face
whenever they
just as much
can
as you
now.
can do stuff that's right.
I just think if the guys like you and respect you, and yeah, you do need like good interpersonal skills. And I don't know, I don't see that necessarily for counsel, but yeah, if you can
need a
do that,
motivator.
then that's the job. That Thompson guy in Philly, if the players like him, they respect that he put his paid his dues. That's the thing, that the X's and O's of being a baseball manager, it's pretty, it's not, I don't know. If you've ever played Stratomatic, it's that would be the course that you would need.
Hey,
Well, anyways,
you're right back. It just started pouring rain outside, and I left the cushions on my seats.
Jeff always leaves before I go over the standings. Smart. So, well, Satch is still on top, but they went 2-4, losing week. That's nice to see. And here's Knockers with their 6-0, moving up to third. And Sombrero's gained a game on Dads. See, even with a good week, he gained a game or half a game. Oh, I'm sorry, half a game.
And I was literally 5 minutes away from, like, I go, oh, I got to put Quintana in because I just wanted him to pitch against the Cubs. And he had like 28 points.
I had Freeland on the IL, but I had no intention of keeping him. But I could have moved him up for that day and then dropped him. And he's pitching in Colorado against I don't know if it was Cincy or something. I was like, no way am I doing that. His first start back, and he got like 22 points. So he's out there. If you want Kyle Freeland, he's out there. But yeah, and then I picked up Slade Ciccone. He was on my team at least once before, and I would have put him in, and it was like 12:05. I mean, it was early, and they must have had like a rain out or something like that because that game started at like 11 o'clock or something. I mean, I've never seen that except for Patriots Day. I've never seen a game start at like 11 or whatever it was. That game was already in the third inning when I picked him up. I picked him up, and then I realized the game had already started. I couldn't put him in. I was like, he only got 6 points. That's not a big deal, but Jesus Christ, these start times. If it's noon Eastern, I mean, I'm talking Eastern time. You're safe. No games start at noon.
But they must have been moving up even the East Coast stuff during the week. But even during like a weeknight game, I've been noticing they started 5:35 Central Time.
Oh yeah, okay, so like a 6:30 start. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
not the Mets, I don't think, but maybe.
There was a couple Philly games. Whoever they were playing the last series, I'm like, what? When did this happen? It was like 7:05.
I need like some sort of an app. I don't know. They probably already have this. Like, I need like an alarm on my phone. Give me like 15 minutes before a game's about to start, so I can just at least check, because that's frustrating. You get the game starts, your catcher's sitting down, and your backup catcher is playing, but you can't do anything about it. It's like, oh god damn. And I check whenever I think about it during the day, weekend. I'll check my roster, but I guess hours go by without me checking. I just don't think about it. So, I don't know. I guess I give myself a false sense of security. I'll wake up, in the morning, Saturday or Sunday. I'll put my guys in, and then so I might have a sense of like, I'm all set, but you're not all set until the lineups are released. I
Well,
don't know.
I'll check it in the morning, but it's pretty early, and I make my best guess on who's going to start that day. But then you never know.
Yeah, I guess catchers is sort of easy. If they had a night game and it's a day
Yeah.
game, he's probably not going to play.
And you can look at the guys that semi-platoon, like, okay, this lefty doesn't
The
play
lefty.
against lefty, but then they give the random guy a day off. It's like he's played 14 days in a row, and now you're giving him, like, I understand the Sunday lineup thing, but you're giving him a Tuesday night off?
Yeah, they gave, I think it was Will Smith, catch for the Dodgers. I think they gave him the Friday night off. It was a weird thing. Like, I could see like he's not going to play Sunday. That's what you would expect if they had a night game Saturday. But I don't know. It was weird. Maybe they gave him the Saturday off. I don't remember. But yeah, it's weird stuff. But that's Dave Roberts. He's a genius, right? See, that's what I mean. Like these managers that have this great reputation, Dave Roberts, Alex Cora. I'm sorry, I just don't see it. I'm sure if you named a manager that you're impressed with, maybe I would agree. But I'd have a tough time coming up with one. I think if the players like the guy and they respond to him, that's it. That's the job. The other stuff, I mean, that's like something that half the baseball fans are going to be able to do. I think. Gee, we got a lefty, righty, lefty coming up. I guess I should bring in the lefty from the pen. I don't know. It's just like, and there's no hit and runs anymore, really, right? I mean, it's very rare.
It's just a straight steal.
Yeah. And basically, what if you have the speed, just go when you can. I mean, that's pretty much the instruction, right?
Sorry, just situating.
All right.
Now I'm cold. It's so fucking wet. All right, what did I miss?
Well, we were just about to talk about you going 0-5. No, we already covered all that.
Yeah.
Zadi rallied, and they're at exactly 500 now.
I just want to thank Doug for time and not giving me the complete goose egg.
At 369. Good baseball numbers there.
Yeah, that's a pathetic score for a week.
I hope I haven't missed a 420 this week. Sometimes I go back and like see if I missed one. So I don't think we've had.
If it wasn't for me picking up Dakota Hudson, I probably would have been right above Sean.
Yeah, it wouldn't have taken much. 7 points.
It got me -8. I think it was -8. Could have been more.
Except if you get lucky. There's always sob stories, right? I mean, like Satch went 2-4, but if you look at, 3-3 was 408, and even a 4-3 was 412. So like 413 would have been a 4-2, right? Am I doing that right? So 10 more points and he had 2 more wins, But I'm glad it turned out the way it did. So it's tightened up a bit. Knocker's only 6 back. Jags are game and a half.
So wait a minute. How did wait till next year get like an extra game there?
They had a tie earlier in the year.
So when there's another tie, that's when you add a game to somebody else?
Yeah. Your win-loss is based on one additional game for the week. This way, we're all within one game played of each other for the year.
But who would be the guy he tied? Wouldn't that person also?
This guy, it was Hack. He went 3-2, but he didn't have a tie from earlier in the year, so he's 3-2.
Oh, gotcha.
Wade,
okay.
If Wade hadn't had the tie, he would have been 3-2 also. So those ties are kind of like you have a half a win and a half a loss embedded in there. I don't know if that makes it easier. And there's the Buddha. So it takes 30 points to get an extra win or loss away from the average. And then hit points per game. McBride's is on top. And Sombrero, nope, Bizzotti's got the least hitting points per games played. Satch has still got the most.
Hey, can we go back to the ties again real quick?
Sure.
What would be easier and what would make more sense to maybe have a tiebreaker instead of doing the off numbers and stuff like that? So say like the tiebreaker would be whoever had the most points in a single day that week gets the tiebreaker, and you get one extra point for that if
Could
they're on
do
a
that. I
tie.
mean, that could be a tie too, but
Well,
yeah,
I mean
unlikely.
that's not likely though.
I kind of like that there's half a games in here. It makes the standings a little, I don't know, more what you're used to seeing. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I know it's just a little confusing, people trying to keep track of like, all the ties and shit. I don't know. I just thought it'd be like probably a easier way to do it.
Maybe, I don't know. So anybody that's got 74 games played has had a tie this year. Anybody that's had 75 hasn't had a tie, or like wait till next year has resolved it. So everybody's got 74 or 75 games played. Beer league games. But yeah, tiebreakers is another way to do it. There is actually a tiebreaker. I think if there was no other way for the league, for the wins and losses to balance out, I think it's based on the team that's lower in the standings from the previous week. Hopefully that's in the rules somewhere. I know I emailed it, but it should be part of the regular rules. Just in case there was a situation where it wouldn't work out with the tiebreaker. Maybe if there was three-way tie, something like that, it might be impossible to do it. Because that's another thing too. I want there to be an even amount of wins and losses for the whole league. All right. So we know Satch is on top as far as non-save hole pitching points per inning pitched. And Daddy's has got the fewest. And bullpen, I think Satch still way on top with that too. Yeah, they got 337 save hold points. And wait till next year is 99, and everybody else is in between there. So that's a big thing. That's 200.
See, that's one of his big secrets is getting a hold of those pitchers that can get saves and holds and that qualify as a starter.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's what he's got 200 more points just in this area than I do. And less than 100 points separate us. This is you could say is the difference.
No.
You go to what is it? I think it's just in the raw tab. I was looking at, I look at Satch's team, that stat tracker. So look at, he's got 64 saves for the year. I have 14. I guess this must be wait till next year is only 12. But
I'm in second place with 52.
yeah, I mean, that's the dads are doing well with their bullpen. You got two of the top six and save hold pitching guys. But so I was going like, well, he's concentrating on saves guys, so I must be doing, I'm probably outdoing him holds wise because he's outdoing.
See, what's killing me is
by 50 saves.
What's killing me is quality starts.
But I looked at the holds. He's got the same amount of holds as me. So we have the same amount of holds, but he's got 50 more saves.
I only have 3 holds.
Yeah, so that's what I expected.
And I have 49 quality starts. That's what's killing me right there.
I thought, oh, okay, well, just I've just got a lot of old guys, but he's got just as many holds as I do. This guy's got 53. Who's that? It's a Spear. Spear's got a lot of holds. But this is like ranks in the different stats. We've done this. We can see that Sombrero's hitting is, even rate stats wise. So not just affected by games, but just on our, you know, plate appearance basis. You're 11th in weighted on base average. So you're pretty much 11th. Only Bizzotti seems like they have worse hitting. And Daddies are about 9th, according to this. And pitching wise, this is where Daddies are, trailing. But last in FIP and ERA and runs per game. And I point this out because it's a little interesting for Sombreros. All right, 10th in ERA, 11th in FIP, so that's worse. That's going the wrong way. 9th in runs per game, but K minus BB percentage, you're 6th. So that's pretty drastic. I mean, this doesn't. The big thing this wouldn't include would be, obviously homers or hits. Just in general. Your BABIP luck or whatever. But so if you want to hang your hat on something, it might be likely that the Sombreros will climb a little bit in the pitching if you believe in this as a foundational stat. I think K minus BB percentage is pretty good. Way better than these per 9 innings stats. K per 9, BB walks per 9, and you can illustrate that with if you have an inning and the guy allows 2 homers, a double, 3 singles, and he strikes out 2 guys. You got another guy goes 1, 2, 3, and he strikes out only one of those guys. He struck out 33% of his guys, and the other guy struck out less than that. I don't remember the numbers I just said. So if you go per 9 innings, you're going to go, oh, that guy's a better strikeout pitcher, but he only struck out 2 guys out of 10 or something. All right, everybody's silent because this is so exciting. Let's see. So predicted final. Satch is only predicted for 104 now. That's their low water mark for the year. So that's just a lowly mark. Imagine only winning 104 games in the beer league. That's just a crummy year. And Daddy's Sombreros, they got you guys right down here. So
We know, Lou.
Cream of the crop.
well, I guess that's it for the happy recap.
You're only 2 games off from Satch after he took off like a bat out of hell straight out.
Yeah, this year, if you look at last year, in the beginning of June, it was still like a race. I don't remember if it was me that was in it or it was Chris. But in June, that's when he just by the end of June, it was over. I can't remember what his lead was, but I remember June changed everything. Going into June, it was still tight. I think he had overtaken me because I got off that hot start last year in middle of May. So end of May was still, okay, there's gonna be a race. I don't think it was just me either. But by the end of June,
don't sleep on Larkin, man. He's got it 2 weeks in a row now. He's 12-0.
He keeps picking up pitchers on the waivers that are contested, bids, 3 and 4 bids for him. He's gotten them. He got Montgomery. He just got somebody else this past week. No, I can't remember, but yeah.
I don't think he's got any. He does he have any dough left? Like
Fab
$5?
I don't have that up here.
Yeah, he's got $9 fab left. Well, yeah, $9 fab left. So he's used it all. So is who has used it all is John Kimler. He used every bit of his.
You can always trade for, I think it's 33 more. You can trade for a maximum of 33. You could find somebody that doesn't use their dollars at all and make them a deal for next year or something. I guess if you're gonna trade for fab dollars this year, you're probably not gonna want to jeopardize your team this year. But maybe there's a trade.
No, those you have to physically go in there and do it, right?
I can do it. Yeah. So. All right.
don't
well, we
think
can
Bizzotti
see.
has not used a one fab dollar.
Yeah, so that would be my first call, right? I mean, I'm sure Chris and John would think of that. You can see the pitchers have come back down. They were ahead of the top pitchers, top hitters before. Now they're under by what is that? 23 points, 33 points. So, but you figured Lugo wasn't gonna keep up that pace, right? So this is good. I'm happy with the way the points are shaking out. As a rule of thumb, I told you I wanted 3 guys for every 2 guys here, because we got 12 non-catcher hitters in the starting lineup, and we got 8 starting pitchers, so it's like a 3-to-2 ratio, just as a general rule of thumb. So our fourth hitters at 326, and our top pitchers at 326. So it's working out pretty well. The way it was. Daddy's what you got. Soto and Witt in the top 5 here. Somebody else, right? What do you got pitching wise? You got Blanco, your quick pickup there in April. He's pitching a no-hitter. I think I'll pick him up. It's worked out pretty well.
Yeah, it has actually.
He was what, top 10?
I think Zach Gallen would probably be up there too if he didn't get hurt. So he's been hamstring.
Oh, we got a couple more daddies down here. This is top 25 hitters. And I added some catchers in. But Ketel Marte and Christian Walker, teammates in the beer league and in the major league.
Yeah, same side of the infield.
And then relievers, you got Finnegan and Iglesias. And Emmanuel Clase, the pride of the Sombreros. Going to be an all-star representative. Beer league all-star.
That guy is definitely Class A.
Hey, the Class A.
Hey, should have did there.
The Sombreros. I should have gone for that pun instead of the pride of the Sombreros. All right.
I'll get back. It was fine.
So,
Florida power play.
Is it 2-1?
16 minutes to go in the third.
2-1 Florida?
Florida 2, Edmonton 1. Come on, boys, get a shorty. Yeah, get a shorty.
Is this one in Florida?
Yes. Yes, it is.
They should try to do one of those outdoor hockey games down in Florida or something one year, They got some cool days down there, don't they? January.
Yeah, they'll never have an outdoor game at home.
They can barely pull it off in New York. Real hit or miss,
This is just, game 7s are always the best, and especially in hockey. Because you never see them, skate so damn fast, try so damn hard, man. It's like it's all out there, and it's pretty wild to watch. But one hell of a sport.
Playoff hockey is a very nerve-wracking thing to watch,
Especially if your team's playing, yeah.
Especially if you have a 1-goal lead. There's 2 minutes left. It's the worst, 38. They tie it up with 30 seconds. You're like, fuck, shit.
Or they go to
Canada's
play till 2 a.m. I remember watching some of those games.
Which ones?
When they play in the playoffs, they go to triple overtime. They're playing at 2:30 in the morning.
That's happened before.
Yes.
I think the Islanders' first Stanley Cup they won. It was against Washington, not the finals, but I think it went to 4 overtimes.
I thought there was 5 overtimes.
It was a day game, it wasn't a night game. But Imagine that, going through 3 full overtimes till we scored. Jesus Christ. It must have been so drained. I remember, I'm not the hockey fan that I am, a baseball fan, but I remember when the Mets were in the '86 series, I couldn't. I was a smoker then, and I couldn't have smoked more cigarettes. I was so nervous. I couldn't even really sit without a game. I was like standing and going through like a pack halfway through the game, even, like just when that was over, I was so ecstatic, but also it was like a weight was lifted, like wasn't going to have to go through that torture anymore. Oh. So I guess what I'm saying is I'm glad the Mets only made it to the World Series, a couple of times since then. So.
Yeah.
There's no feeling like it, man. I swear. We got a little dose of it in the '90s with the Bulls, and then the Blackhawks later in the 2010s. You had the White Sox got their due in 2005. You had the Cubs get their due in 2016. The Bears were 85, and then they were was it in 2006 as well, but they didn't win that one. So I can say I've seen a championship from every team in this city, which is a lot more than some other people can say. I mean, they waited years and didn't make it to see that. So
yeah, well, like the Jets, they won it January 12th, '69, but I wasn't a Jets fan then. I came on, right after that, a few years after that. I've never seen that. I grew up in the shadow of it. I knew that they were cool because of Joe Namath, and they won the Super Bowl. But like, little did I know that was it. They weren't going to be like the I don't know, cream of the crop or whatever. They
weren't going to be the Patriots.
Yeah. I think we talked about it last year. The first Super Bowl I remember is Cowboys Dolphins. The Super Bowl before the Dolphins had their perfect season or whatever.
Oh shit!
It would have been January '72.
You know what I don't like? I don't like the fact that that Dolphins team roots against people to lose. They root for somebody to lose because they don't want anybody matching their record. That's kind of shitty.
I think Sean has strong opinions about this. But no, it's January '72, that Super Bowl. And then the fall of '72 was their great season. But I told you that story last year. That was the first bet I ever made. I bet on the Dolphins, and when the Cowboys won, I wouldn't pay the kid. It was a quarter, and so his dad called my dad, and so my dad,
you're raising a welcher.
Yeah, he's like, you make a bet and you lose, you pay, and I was like, all right. So I paid the kid. His name was Steven.
And those words have kept you out of trouble with the mob ever since.
I think it was like 24-3. They lost that game. If I had just made that bet a year later, I would have been fine.
Constantly pushing these things back in my ears, man.
You're in football. You're a Packers fan, Sean?
Yeah.
Are you Dolphins?
I was a Dolphins fan, and I was a Dan Marino fan. And then when I I just got so sick of the Chicago media slobbering over the Bears. I go, who do Bears fans hate the most? The Packers. That's going to be my team.
Well, I like the story from December.
Hateful bastard.
I like the story from December '85, the Monday night game when the Dolphins beat the Bears, ruined their perfect season. And you said you went to school the next day and you had a Dolphins jersey on.
I wore it the day of the game, and everyone gave me shit. And especially, I had a good relationship with like the social studies teacher. She's like, I can't believe you're wearing that shirt in here. Well, I played quarterback on the team, so like people didn't give me that much shit, but they were like, what? You're wearing that? Well, then the next day I wore it again after they won. And everyone's like giving me the finger. And that was probably one of the best sports moments of my life, was that Monday night game. Sorry, Jeff.
Oh, it's fine. I was working during that game. I was working at a Finish Line shoe store. And yeah, I was listening to it they had it on the radio.
He was from Finland? Is that what it is?
What? No, not Finish Line. You know, it's like a Foot Locker.
Like a race. Oh, I got you.
Yeah. Yeah, we were selling all kinds of stinky fish. That's what we were doing. Finish Line.
Diane told me Super Bowl Sunday, Bears Patriots, which I remember that game. I watched it. And boy, that was not an exciting Super Bowl. But I was in Syracuse, New York. But Diane said she worked at Walgreens that day, and then she got off maybe before the game was going to start. But she said you never saw the roads like there was nobody out there. She was driving home from Walgreens, nobody was there. Everybody was like, hunkered down into, watching the game wherever they, I'm sure a lot of parties and so that. She said it was weird, Was it 46-10?
Yeah.
Still 2-1, 12-21 left. Here's some top stories. Patrick Sandoval, he is going to get Tommy John.
Yeah.
And then your boy Edwin Diaz is given his 10-game suspension for a foreign substance.
Well, I'm sure that the Angels GM is on the phones right now looking for replacement for a guy with a 5.0 ERA. So where can you find pitchers like that?
5.0 because his fucking arm was about to fall off.
He was on my team, by the way.
Yeah. Yankees acquired J.D. Davis.
Yeah, I thought that was a good one. He got such a raw deal. The A's are they getting to the point where they're trying to save J.D. Davis money? There's no reason, if they had any pride at all in how they're going. I understand not paying a lot this year because you're not going anywhere. But I mean, really, to save J.D. Davis money, you're gonna get rid of him? I don't know. I like.
What are they going to do with him? Are they going to have him play first base and then sit Ben Rice after they brought him up to do it?
They could have him play at first, third, DH probably. I mean, Stanton's gone too.
He can't.
Yeah,
play
that's true.
JD?
Yeah, not competently.
I don't know. I don't know who do they have that's so much better. I don't know.
Oh, I'll tell you what. Here's another one. This one got me in the ass pretty much this week. So this Aurelvis Martinez kid.
Yeah, you
Toronto,
just mentioned him last week. You totally jinxed him. He gets called up right after you mention him.
He's got like,
and then
I said,
he gets
16 home runs. He's hitting almost 300. Blah blah blah. This, that, and the other. Well, yeah, good reason why he was doing that shit. He was fucking juicing. So I immediately dropped him.
He wasn't.
I mean, if you look at what Tatis is doing now, is what he did when he got busted.
Trying to start a family. He's 22, and he's having trouble getting pregnant.
Oh, maybe he should.
These stories are ridiculous. Really? At 22, you're taking for. I think you'll be just fine.
I don't think juicing is the thing you want to do to start a family. That's a good way to make you pretty much sterile. So yeah, kind of had to kick him to the curb.
Yeah, he had like 15 homers in the minors or something, right?
Didn't he get popped in the minors though?
No, he got popped up here. He came up for
no, but like
the test was in the minors.
Ago.
Yeah,
like 18 months ago or something. I thought he got suspended. In the minors.
Well, he's got an 80-game suspension. Is that the first 80 games given out for the first time? Isn't it a full year for the second?
I don't know if minors counts. I don't know.
Oh, I do.
It could have been somebody else.
I mean, I guess it's worth it if you're going to make $700,000 for the year, but he only made that for like 4 days. So,
Yeah.
come on, guy.
Who had Kyle Bradish?
Was it?
Who had Kyle Bradish?
I don't know.
He went on. He went Tommy. He got Tommy John.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Brandis. Yeah. I get these. I have Dean Kramer. I get all these guys confused if they're on the same team, especially. I don't know if you guys have this problem. Like Gavin Stone and Michael Grove. I guess because of the letter V, I couldn't tell them apart. When I saw news about them, I was like, wait a second, somebody just dropped him, and I was like, and it wasn't, it was Michael Grove, not Gavin Stone or something like that. Is that just me? Grove, Stone, Gavin? No, I don't know. I have trouble with those. Dean Kramer and Kyle Bradish. Those names don't sound alike, but I guess I had them both in the same file in my brain.
Aren't they both
Same
soft
team.
tossing lefties?
Yeah,
Bradish and Kramer.
I don't know if my file was that detailed. I think it was just Orioles pitchers who I barely know. I don't know.
So yeah, people are beat up right now. We got Mookie Betts out on the IL. We got Teoscar Hernandez day to day. We got Fernando Tatis Jr. on the IL. Fucking Kyle Tucker's on the IL.
That's an American League guy, but I was
Stanton.
noticing that it seems like the National League has been more hurt by injuries than the American League so far this year. Because even Tucker's coming back, right? It's not like a season-ending thing.
Burrow went down, Charlie Blackmon, Mike Tauchman. But
I heard that the Phillies are hot and heavy after Tucker right now.
Kyle Tucker?
Yeah.
Astros aren't going to do that. That's the guy they're going to keep.
Yeah, why would they do that?
Well, because
the Phillies would have to give up a fuck ton.
Dombrowski will empty his, like he normally does. He'll empty all his prospects.
Make him a deal they can't refuse,
I mean, what are the Astros going to do? They're not going anywhere.
I don't know.
I mean, they might make the playoffs.
I don't know about that. I mean,
they'll get in, maybe get in the playoffs, but I don't see them. I don't buy that philosophy. Just get in and you have a chance. You need it. That's fair if you have two stud starting pitchers.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. Is Verlander going to come back and be a stud?
They'd have to find that out first before they do something like Tucker. But Tucker, I think, will be on the team next year and the year after. I mean, like I think that's the guy they're going to keep. Bregman's probably the one that's you're just going to have to wave goodbye to.
If the Phillies threw Painter in there and another guy,
I'm not doing that. No, I mean, even for the future, I think that the Astros pitchers, if they come back, will be, even what they already have, that's just not available right now.
But their owner, whatever his name is for the Astros, Crane. He's low. He's like Jerry Reinsdorf. He does not give out big contracts. He's not going to go bust out a $300 million contract to keep Tucker.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess I don't. I haven't been in the negotiations, so I don't know. But I just think, to me, it's like no brainer. Like Tucker's the guy you keep. You keep Alvarez and Tucker. You figure the other stuff out. You don't want to bring Bregman back. Perfectly understandable. But I wouldn't.
I'm just saying. I read a story about it today.
You get rid of Tucker, you're just not going to be able to replace that. For years and years and years. I don't know. That guy's good.
I don't disagree, and I understand that's why the Phillies want him. But
yeah, Phillies schmillies. They got plenty. Just keep trotting Brandon Marsh and David Dahl. I like that they brought in David Dahl. Because like these guys whose careers just didn't pan out, but you knew that there was something there with Dahl, especially when he was going to hit in Colorado. I think those things are smart. Bring a guy like that in see what happens.
Some guys just take a little more time to season.
Well, he's already been defrosted, frozen and defrosted. So you got the minor league. The draft coming up. So you got any thoughts, Sean? Put you on the spot. I don't know any of the guys. So like, you got anybody that you think is?
I think that. Well, the Indians are the wild card. They have the number 1 pick. They typically like to go after a young guy. They value, like, if you're a 19-year-old high school senior, there's zero chance they're taking him. But if you're a 17-year-old senior and you're highly rated, they'll weigh that way more than most teams. So they have the number 1 pick. I don't know. The best player consensus is Condon. He's a third baseman from Georgia.
Yeah, he's only a sophomore. What if he wants to stay in school?
You're going to turn down $10 million? You're already going to be the number 1 pick? I mean, I'm talking about the guy from Georgia, Condon.
Yeah.
How's he going to improve his status?
I don't know. He might want to be the best baseball player in college history. And he'll still be the number 1 pick.
Yeah, and then he tears up his knee next year. I mean, there's a kid.
There's a lot of shit that can happen. He can do that in the minors.
After he's got his money,
Well,
I mean, even if you value an education, it's like you got to take that money. You can go to school when you're a failed 32-year-old ball player, you know what I mean? But you can't go to school and then,
I think that's part of the contracts now. They'll pay for you to go back to school.
Yeah. I mean,
it's like,
why not? I mean, you should definitely,
if you're the number 1 pick, you're not going to turn it down.
Yeah, your baseball.
Well, then that means that Jack Caglione will probably be the 2nd pick or the 2nd position player off. That first baseman for, who was it?
Florida?
Miami?
Florida, Cags?
Yeah, that guy that fucking knocked like 30 home runs 3 years in a row in the college. I think he's a senior too, so he's a little closer to the show.
And his thing is, though, he's hyped up because he was a dual player this year. He pitched and he was really good.
Yeah. He'll be one or the other. I mean, he's probably
be a hitter. I mean, I know that people are hyping him as the next Ohtani, but he already had 1 TJ, and then he was pitching in the College World Series, and he was rubbing his forearm the whole game. I don't think he's going to ever pitch in the pros.
I would think with your first round, with your first round pick, you want that to be, as close to can't miss as possible, right? I mean, like, wouldn't you not want to use that pick on a high school guy? I know what you're saying. You'd rather have the 17-year-old high school guy than the 19-year-old high school guy, but maybe with that first round pick, you can take chances later, and you should take chances later. But that first round pick, shouldn't it be like, that's the guy that we just can't see him being can't miss as much as you can see some, obviously anything's possible. You know what I'm saying? Like, it seems to me like a first round pick shouldn't be a high school guy, right? I mean,
well, it depends on what high school guy it is. I mean, if you're talking like Bryce Harper back in the day, he was a junior college kid that left fucking high school early to go to junior college so he can get drafted earlier.
I mean, what do you think, Sean? You think I'm just applying general logic that doesn't really apply in this case? I don't know.
It depends on like what your team's philosophy is. Like the White Sox they used to always take a college player. They want a guy that's close, like a year and a half away from coming into the show. Whereas other teams have good development programs and they'll wait 3 years for that high school kid to develop who probably has a higher upside than the kid who might turn out to be an average player, but he can contribute in a year.
That's a trade-off. Obviously, you want to hit a home run with these guys. If they don't pan out, they're just gone. But the first round pick, I think that should be like the most conservative you are in the whole draft is that first round, right? I mean, the guy can have more upside, but it's much more hit or miss too, right? I mean, like, there's upside, but then there's downside.
They're all hit or miss in baseball. It's such a crapshoot. I mean, look at Torkelson. He went 1-1. He was supposed to be this generational hitter,
right?
And he's a bust to this point. Andrew Vaughn was supposed to be a great hitter. He's kind of been a bust.
Oh, yeah, he has. Remember Courtney Hawkins?
Yeah. I mean, first round picks, baseball is way more bust than any other sport.
Well, yeah, because the guys are farther away, right? In the NFL, you draft them. It's exciting because they're going to play. That
Right.
year. There's no. We'll see him in about 3 or 4 years. I know that it's going to be.
The good thing about taking a player out of college is that you have more time to see him and see him like kind of mature into a body of a man instead of being this kid. You don't know how, this dude, you can draft him at 5'9" and he can shoot up to 6'4" over a summer. I grew a lot between my junior and senior year. So it's just, there's still a lot of stuff that factors that go into drafting a high schooler. There's still a lot of unknowns when you're drafting a high school kid. You can have all the talent in the world. But when you see some of these college players and what they do 3 years after they would have been drafted and see how they project, that makes them, to me,
better
way
competition.
more appetizing to take in a draft, especially first through third rounds.
Well, that's why the Dodgers, they have probably one of the top 2-3 developmental programs in baseball. So
I would doubt that.
They take that. They go. We know how to develop talent. We see something in this kid. He'll grow, mature. Whereas other teams like the White Sox, they can't develop shit. The A's, they can't develop anything. They're taking the guy. Earpiece fell out.
Yeah, it keeps doing it.
I know.
Well, while we're talking about this, Tennessee just beat Texas A&M in the College World Series, take their first title. They were down 1-0. The Aggies got the first game, and then they came back and won the second too. Pretty slick.
You follow that at all, Sean?
The first time.
Yeah, I watched it. There's 2 first rounders that were playing in that. There's one from Tennessee. He's a second baseman and an outfielder for A&M. They'll be top 15 picks, both of them.
Where do the White Sox pick this year?
5.
Next year, 10.
And to me, there's 4 certain number top 4 guys, and then it's kind of a crapshoot.
Yeah. Well,
to me, there's 2 tiers. There's like a top 4, and then there's another 4 in which there's a couple of high school kids, and then there's another tier of maybe 2 or 3, and then the person who gets picked at 15 could slide to 30. The guy that people have ranked at 30 could get picked 15th.
Wow. Well, what do you want them to draft? Do you want them to go starting pitching? Do you want them to draft the best catcher in the fucking draft? Do you want them to get an outfielder, an infielder? What would you like to see the White Sox do with that 5th pick?
I would like to see an athletic right fielder, but you don't draft for need. The guy I really want is Rainier. He's a high school kid out of California. He plays shortstop. But if someone falls to them out of that top 4, then that's who you probably have to take.
Gotcha.
I mean, the Sox are probably 4 years away from being competitive. So it makes no sense to take a college player that it'll be up in 2 years. I mean, yeah, he might be in his prime when you start to get good, but I don't know.
But like you said before, they're just going to ruin them.
Yeah.
Now, do you?
But, and the other thing is, if they take that shortstop, they really don't develop hitters. They know how to develop pitching. So there's a pitcher out of Arkansas who's probably going to go somewhere 6, 7, 8. Well, you know pitching. If you have an excess of pitching, then trade him.
Yeah. You never have an.
Here's another one.
You know.
Do you think they will
Never
trade
works out
Garrett
like that.
Crochet?
No.
Now, do you want the Sox to take a guy that, when you bring him up, is only going to play like 100 games a year, or do you want a guy that like will stay healthy and play like 140, 150? Do you have a preference on that? I mean, do you want them to keep getting Eloy
Moncada and Eloy? Eloy comes off the DL and can't even get out of the batter's box and goes back on it.
He just doesn't want to play baseball, I think.
Well, and I'm telling you, him and Moncada got paid, and they like, oh my God, I got a hangnail.
Yeah. Oh,
because those guys are concentrating too much on their rate stats. You got to get them into their counting stats. You know.
Yeah.
I want to come back. My OBP is 370.
Right.
Yeah, but you've only had 100 plate appearances.
I'm gonna get a refill. I'll be right back.
I don't know. I mean, I can see that you could just get nowhere being conservative in the first round if what you're taking is close to major league ready guys. But I guess that's not really the angle. It's not the closeness to being able to play in the majors. It's like having more of a body of work to look at, which I guess also means that he's going to be closer to major league ready. But I don't know. I just think that first round, it's so awful to like waste that pick. And if you think that the Sox in particular wouldn't be able to successfully develop a hitter, then they shouldn't even take him. You trade for that hitter later. When one of the pitchers that you have in your system already hits, you trade him for some hitters, prospects.
Right.
I don't know.
Oh, we're down to 4 minutes, and it's still 2-1 Florida. Oh my God. This is crazy right now.
But Sox should take a pitcher then, right?
That would be the conservative approach. I mean, but they just lack position players. And I mean, to the point, yeah, I don't trust them to be able to develop one, but come on, sometime you got to be able to do it. But
why was Benintendi been shit?
I don't know.
He
really hasn't been that good
they signed
since
that guy, and there was better people out there that they just didn't go after.
Well,
For some reason, they saw something in Benintendi that nobody else did.
Well, he wasn't big money. He was like
they barely outbid the Yankees for him.
They just gave him more.
Well, I wish they wouldn't have outbid the Yankees for him.
Well, he was a first-round pick, and he had a really good rookie year with the Red Sox, but he's kind of petered out since that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Bogarts, Benintendi, and Betts, right? There was like the killer bees, the three bees, But the Yankees beat writer a couple years ago, I guess it was, talked about that the Yankees had every intention of bringing Benintendi back. They wanted to bring him back, but the White Sox just outdid the years. I think they gave him 5 years, right? And I think the Yankees were like thinking more along the lines like 3 years,
Yeah.
They just blew him out of the water, so they let him go. But they liked him. They wanted to bring him back, but they didn't like him that much, I guess.
Well, in their lineup, they probably viewed him as like an 8 hitter and a decent left fielder. The Sox are putting him in there. Oh, you're going to bat leadoff for 2. Like, he's not going to carry an offense.
So I know it's bad to
Wow.
talk about it on the Beer League podcast, but in that AL Roto League, I was briefly in first place yesterday. I'm back in second now. But out of 12 teams, and I came in as taking over the last place team. So this is like the best fantasy baseball performance I've ever had, I think. And it's so funny. I have White Sox and A's. I have Lennon Sosa. I have Corey, the catcher. What's his name?
Lee.
Corey Lee. I have Andrew Vaughn. I have
He's actually done pretty well this year. That's a bright
Previous.
spot for the White Sox.
I had Leisure, and he's in the minors. I mean, I have so many Sox. It's crazy. And I have A's. I have Miguel Andujar, who was a pickup, and I've got this Hogan pitcher guy.
Jim up, yeah.
So funny. But I was not prepared for that auction. I thought I was, but I had no idea how deep it was going to go, and I was scrambling at the end. So I made all these moves early in the year because I screwed up the end of the auction. I was not ready for that depth. It's in Beer League, we're not going past starting players. Maybe you'll get some, lefty platoon player, but usually you just have a starting player. This league, anyways, it was deeper than I had anticipated. Even though I knew it would be deeper, I just wasn't really. It didn't sink in enough. But anyways, yeah, lots of White Sox. Can you believe it? I haven't got that many. I even had other ones that I don't even have anymore. And I tried to pick up other ones.
There's a minute 35 left. Florida 2, Edmonton 1, and they're in the Florida zone. Edmonton is in the Florida zone, about to take the face off.
All right, you do the play-by-play, and I'll act it out.
My question is, when do they pull their goalie here? Probably with about 30 seconds left if they're on that way down. Can't do it too early.
I'll be right back.
Well, I thought you were going to act out the action on the ice.
No, I could watch it back there.
I thought he was going to
There's that kooky-looking dude with the gloves, and they always get a shot of him like polishing the trophy. I see that every year. The old dude over there with a fucking hanky rubbing on that trophy. Man, this is kind of like nail biter moment. If Edmonton scores here, holy shit.
I looked up, I guess I should wait for Sean, but I looked up that Cubs catcher, that Ballesteros, Moises.
Ballesteros, yeah.
And
he just moved up to AAA.
Yeah, I saw that he moved up to AAA, and his estimated, his ETA was 2026, but I think they're stepping that up. But
He's stepping it up.
I did see, he's hitting fine. He's hitting well. But I did see that
he's got a great on base percentage, actually.
Yeah, his defensive metrics are below average. I guess that's the thing. I mean, they would bring him up for offense and replace in the late innings or whatever.
Well, I tell you what, if they go to like a robot umpire of some sort, you're going to see the framing going away. So
yeah, I'm not sure how much of that number was framing. But I mean, he could work on it, and maybe he could become an average catcher. I mean, I know from the Mets, Francisco Alvarez was thought to be below average defensively, and he's good.
Right. And Edmonton has pulled their goalie, and they can't seem to get it into the other zone. And there's 53 seconds left.
And Alonso was supposed to be a butcher in the field. He's not terrible. So
no.
So if this guy can hit, they should bring him.
I kind of regret trading him to you, by the way.
Well, we should trade back.
Yeah, he's just going to start being too expensive.
He's 55. I kept him, so he would be a match guy next year.
Wow, Florida played such good defense towards the back of this. There's 23 seconds left.
Sean, do you know anything about that Cubs?
They haven't been able to get it in the goal, even though it's empty.
Ballesteros? Cubs catcher. He just got called up to AAA.
10 seconds. 5 seconds.
Ah, fuck.
This game's over.
Ah.
And Florida has won it.
Boo.
Oh, Well, at least Edmonton made it really interesting.
Well, justice was served because those long-suffering Florida hockey fans, from the womb, those people are just loving their hockey.
What a series, man. It went 3 to fucking Florida, then 3 to Edmonton, and then this last game was a 2-1 nail biter. Wow.
That's
All right, well, that's enough of that.
no, it's just baseball, man. Baseball in the WNBA.
That's the one thing about the Blackhawks that I'm pretty excited about. They got their pipeline is rich with talent, and they've got a ton of picks coming up here for the next couple years.
Well, how about the Oilers pipeline? Don't underestimate. Oh boy, cracking myself up if no one else. Well, anyways, this AA catcher that just got called to AAA for the Cubs. I'm thinking, his ETA was 2026, but I don't think it is anymore. I think it's 2024.
Yeah, I think that has a lot to do with his performance, man. The way he's coming together. Sometimes that's up to the player too, and how quick he moves through the pipeline.
Because you said that last week, Jeff, and I think you're right. I think that it would be the easiest way that they could upgrade that team is better catching. I don't know. I don't know what you think of Amaya, but he's nothing special, right?
I thought he'd be a better hitter than he is, and he's just not that good of a hitter. He's a good, a good game caller. The pitchers have been pitching well under him. Not the bullpen, but the starters have been actually doing pretty well when he's in there. And he's good at blocking pitches and things like that. Nito is straight up defense.
Yeah.
Now you got
they brought in.
Now you got like 2 defensive catchers and no hitting catchers.
Nito actually didn't do that well this year defensively, but he has been good. He's definitely a good defensive catcher.
Yeah.
I always stuck up for him, but he was so lousy last year as a hitter, and I don't think he did much this year either. But I knew he would never be a good hitter, but I thought he might be able to top out as a 15 homer guy. He's got a little bit of pop, but he was so bad. Like I don't even know if his OPS was. It definitely wasn't above 600. I mean, it was definitely in the 500s. But I think for a lot of the year, it might have been even in the 400s. It was really bad.
Well, I think that's
the
knock on the other guy, though, is he doesn't play defense. He can hit.
The guy in the minors?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's kind of overweight.
Sometimes those scouting reports, I guess this is stats too, because I looked up his stats, but like Francisco Alvarez, to my eyes, he's good defensively. I don't know if he's Gold Glove, but he's definitely at least average, at least. And that was the big thing that they were worried about was his defense. And even like I said like Alonso was supposed to be a complete like monumentally historically like a butcher in the field, and he's not a butcher. I don't think he's ever going to win a Gold Glove like he said was his goal, but he's not a butcher. I mean, you can take Pete's defense, with the homers,
There's your boy.
Yeah.
Moises Ballesteros. He's only 5'7", 195 pounds. He's 20 years old.
Oh, that's a little young to bring him up. Jesus, yeah. I don't know. That's why it was 2026 was his ETA.
How old was Pudge Rodriguez when he came up?
Well, Pudge was I think he was 14 when he got called up.
No, well, look at this. I mean, his 2024 stats, 304, 370 on base percentage, 870 OPS. He's got 10 home runs.
Yeah. Do they have any defensive stats?
Probably not on MLB Network.
Depending on where they are, the Cubs, I mean, it's probably worth a shot as long as you don't think you're going to ruin them. Sometimes the guy's surprised. The defense is like the reputation is not, borne out.
Look at this picture, though. It looks like his hat is tucking his ears in.
I think it's just the
I
way.
wonder if he took his hat off, if his shit would be like the baby New Year from the Christmas.
I actually know what you're talking about.
We're all about the same age. We should all know what I'm talking about. The baby New Year. Okay, let's see. It's not giving me really anything.
Hey, Sean, did you know that Sean Dunstan's one of his daughters is like in the Sox scouting department as of a couple years ago anyway.
I did not.
Jeff, did you know that Sean was named after Sean Dunstan?
I'm not that
Did
young.
not.
I mean, he was only.
I don't think that's true, though. It's a different spelling. Even though, as much as you want to text it to him that way, it doesn't mean it's spelled that way.
Even though Dunstan was only maybe 3 or 4 years old when Sean was born, his parents, they're big Cubs fans, and they scouted these toddlers, and they knew that Dunstan was going to have a rifle arm at short and swing at any pitch that came within a foot of the plate. So
yeah, he struck out a lot.
I looked up his numbers. He had an 11 WAR for his career.
Seems like the Cubs always had some guy that struck out like fucking 200 times in a year. Just one guy that just would whiff like a lot. I don't know. I think the Cubs have a pretty good team. They just got to get their shit together. They all fucking stopped hitting at the same time and had all the problems at the same time.
Yeah, I was looking at them. Michael Busch has an OPS of 820. He didn't really tail off so bad from the beginning of the year.
No.
This is for you, Sean.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
Your namesake.
Shawon.
He spells it right.
Huh?
I said he spells it right.
No enough.
I was surprised actually when I looked up on Baseball Ref that his lifetime WAR was 11. I would have thought it was going to be quite a bit higher than that. He played.
No, he wasn't
15 years, didn't he?
Yeah, he went to the Giants, right? He played for them a couple of years.
Yeah, he played for the Giants.
His lifetime OPS was like 710. It was, I don't know. And he was a good fielder, I thought. And he had a good arm anyway. He threw hard.
He had a great arm. He kind of butchered the routine, if I remember right. But I mean, he'd make a great play, and then he'd make errors on simple stuff. But maybe I'm just remembering wrong. It's a long time.
All right, I got a player for you to guess what his WAR is. Brett Butler. Remember the center fielder?
Dodgers.
Braves.
Oh, he was on Atlanta for a little bit, then Cleveland, then San Francisco, then the Dodgers, Mets, Dodgers, back to Dodgers. So mostly on the Dodgers, but mostly after he turned 33.
Lifetime WAR of 26.
I got it in front of me. He's got a WAR of 49.7, a career WAR of 49.7.
Nice.
That's pretty fucking good, man. And here's the other thing too. In his career, he had 8,000 at bats, 8,180 at bats. He had 2,375 hits, 54 home runs. He wasn't a home run hitter. Lifetime batting average of 290.
Oh yeah, I guess he was a little bit better at that.
1,359 runs. He didn't get many RBIs because he's a leadoff hitter. So he's like 578 RBIs, 558 stolen bases. And his on-base percentage in his career was 377. He slugged 376. His slugging percentage was less than his OBP. And his OPS was 753 with an OPS plus of 110.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. Yeah, Dunstan's was like his OPS plus was like 89. I mean,
He's just kind of like a
more
forgotten guy.
forgiving
You
at
know what I
those,
mean?
position like shortstop back then. But
Do you know how old Brett Butler is now?
he's older than 33.
He's 67 now.
67. I was going to say
Didn't seem
something
like he
bigger
was.
than 33.
Yeah, because he started his career in 1981 and played all the way through 1997.
He was on America's Funniest Videos. He was playing t-ball, or he was playing wiffle ball, and he was lobbing it to his little kid who was trying to teach him how to hit. And the kid hit a line drive right back off his nuts.
Oh, I've probably seen that video.
I've seen it. It gets replayed a lot, but it was just funny. He was like standing 4 feet away, and he lobbed it in there, and the kid just jacked it right off his nuts. And he fell down. He curled up, and he's like, "Oh my gosh!"
He's an only
Hey,
child.
in honor of the Negro Leagues stuff getting incorporated with the Major League stats and all that stuff, I want to bring up a guy named Steel Arm Davis. Steel Arm Davis was an outfielder, first baseman, and pitcher. That's left, throws left, 6'1", 175. He was born in 1896 and died in 1941 in Chicago, Illinois, at 45 years old.
Yes.
He's buried in Cook County Cemetery in Oak Forest, Illinois, 1920, and his full name was Walter Davis. So he had a career WAR of 9.4.
Just two
At
less than
bats,
Dunston.
1550. It's 500. He had 26 home runs, career batting average of 323, 254 runs, 290 RBIs, stolen bases of 42, career on base percentage of 378 with slugging of 479 and an OPS of 856. PS plus 131.
Yeah, good rate
That
stats.
is Steel Arms Davis. And he was a two-way player because he pitched, played outfield, and first base. Lefty.
Why are you bringing him up?
I don't know. I just thought it'd be,
And where did you pull that name out of?
it was right on the front what they were showing me here, and I'll bring it up to you right now and share the screen. He was right on the first screen. And I was like, I saw the black and white picture, so I'm like, fuck. Learn a little bit about some of their stats from the old league.
So that was his real name? Arm
Yeah,
was
well,
his middle
Walter
name?
Davis is his real name, but
Yeah.
they called him Steel Arm Davis.
I thought Walter was a nickname.
Nope. You want to see another one? Rube Curry.
Just Iron Nuts?
He's from Evergreen
Nope.
Park, Illinois. Hell, man, there's a lot of Illinois guys right here. Pitcher and outfielder, two-way player, right-handed. 6'1", 195. Yeah.
Oh, you're picking Illinois guys. Oh.
Oh, it's just what they're showing me on the screen, man. Reuben Curry is his real name. But he goes by Rube.
He was actually called Iron Nuts Curry. So Steel Arm and coincidence.
And his brother really spicy. So pretty much it's, he didn't have much of a career here. But he wasn't a walkover either. The whip was a little high.
That's not high.
Yeah, 1.255.
Not bad.
You won it under 1 too.
Average.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about back then, but
All right, what about Clint Thomas here? At 308, 846 OPS. Not bad. He was kind of a fast guy, it looks like. Second baseman, outfielder. Probably played center field. He lived to 94 years old.
When I was in like 5th grade, I had a friend, I used to play baseball with, wiffle ball. And his grandfather played for the Philadelphia A's back in like 1930. And he talked about it. So we looked it up in the Baseball Encyclopedia, and his whole career, I think he just pitched the one game. He pitched like 4 innings and he allowed like 13 runs or something like that, But it didn't matter. Like, I was still impressed. Like, your grandfather was a major league pitcher. It's still something. But yeah, he has the worst numbers that you're gonna find. Oh, is he on? Yeah, look up, see if he's on here. Al Mahon, Mahon. I'm sorry.
Mahon.
Mahon.
Al.
Al. Yeah, there he is. 1930. Oh, poor guy. 4 1/3 innings, right? Yeah. His whip was 4.15.
3 games.
Oh, 3 games. Okay. Oh man, that's even worse, right? It wasn't just one game he got rocked. He came in 3 times. 22.85 ERA. Oh boy.
Yeah, but he could have given up 3 runs and
Yeah, he's buried in New Haven. All right.
So who is this guy?
Oh, geez, he must have died right about that time. It was before. It was right before then, anyway. But
Who is this guy to you?
he was my. You didn't listen to the beginning of the story. He was a friend of mine when I was like in like 5th grade. His grandson, and he said, "Hey, my grandfather pitched in the majors." Said, "Oh my god!" And we looked him up in the Baseball Encyclopedia, and we were like shell shocked, because it was like, ooh. But still, I mean, my grandpa didn't play in the pros, so it's still impressive.
Yeah. He died not long after that.
Yeah, it was probably 75 or 6 when we looked it up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he's 68 years old. That's not that old. Let's see what Big McBride's. Oh, 22.6 career WAR. He only had 63 home runs in his career.
See, that one I would have guessed higher than Butler.
Yeah, me too. Well, he did have a higher batting average, career batting average. He was batting 299. So Butler was what, 290?
Sean, you'd enjoy looking up Dunston on this because he had a lifetime WAR of 11, which was less than I would have thought. OPS 89, OPS plus of 89. OPS is 711, I think. I looked it up tonight. I don't know these that well usually.
Big McBride was a in 1974.
36 was the highest stolen base total he ever had.
What's that?
36 was the most stolen bases he ever had.
Yep.
I would have thought that was higher too. He just had the great fro and a great name, So that's half of it right there, I think.
Arnold Ray McBride.
So how come Doug calls his team baked McBrides, not just baked McBrides? Why is it baked? I don't get the pun. Or maybe we do. I don't know.
I think I get it.
I guess his other team name that he used years ago, Doc Ellis and the Pinch Hitters, that's a clue, right?
Doc Ellis and the Pinch Hitters.
That's before Jeff's time. I don't know if it was Sean's time or not.
What does that SRS mean? If you look in the standings,
Simple rating system. The number of runs per game they are better or worse than average team.
Oh.
Average major league team for years in with the interleague play and just their league.
So look at that AL West.
Runs
Seattle,
differential, SRS, strength of schedule.
According to that measure, Seattle and Houston are in a dead heat. That division is not secure.
I didn't say it is, but they're 38 and 40. I mean, they ain't going anywhere.
And even Texas, if Scherzer is back and they get DeGrom in August, that team could be a lot different in the playoffs. Not that I'm rooting for it, but it's true. I mean, that's what you were saying too, Sean. It's like, depends what kind of, you want to get in the playoffs, but what are you going to do without having a couple of studs, you know?
Interesting.
Look at that. See, the Mets are better than the Nationals. I knew it. We are going to take third in that division, man. Screw you, Nats. We'll show you.
Dude, you guys just got a boost from fucking Grimace, that's all. Wait till that wears off.
Yeah, they showed these dickheads at Wrigley with Grimace painted on the chest, and they kept showing. I was like, I don't need to see this. You know, this is nauseating.
Before it was Tommy Trumpet, now it's Grimace.
We always got to have some stupid thing. Oh yeah, we're winning because of stupid fucking Grimace throwing out the first pitch.
Okay, send us a Hamburglar or something. Maybe we'll start stealing some games. Oh, all right. Well, man, it's getting a little late.
Yep. Well, let's wrap things up.
All right.
Absolutely. Good talk. Good talk.
End your share, so we end big.
Say what now?
End your share, so we end big. Big.
I forgot about that.
Big handsome guys, faces. I mean,
I forgot. Sorry.
All right, Sean. Well, I hope you had fun.
Yeah, it was good.
Was it draft
In a
in
house
2
full
weeks?
of 4 women.
Was it?
In a house full of 4 women, I get
yeah.
to talk to some males. Talk sports.
That we are. No they, them here, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, now we're going to get flagged. I'm going to get flagged on YouTube.
I've just hit a wall. Anywho.
All right.
You guys have a wonderful week. Who do we got on deck?
Well, it's supposed to be John Kimler. So hopefully, see. And
okay,
then Norm,
JK in the house.
Might push Norm back to All-Star break or something. I don't know.
I like talking baseball with John.
Yeah, so maybe John next week, and Norm's got to buy some equipment or something. He moved and he needs to buy a new something or other. Well, that's his thing. So it's only Kimler.
The new equipment is probably a bunch of air conditioners because I hear it's scorching down there.
In San Diego, it's hot?
Well, he's not in San Diego. He's in Arizona.
Oh, I thought he lived in San Diego.
He's in Phoenix now. He moved from Glendale.
Oh.
They don't tell you that. You know, when you move to Arizona, they don't tell you that it gets hot there in the summer. Everybody's like shocked. They're like, geez, it's hot.
He's been out there since like
it's 110.
He's been out there since like 2008, somewhere around that time.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It has been a while.
Yeah.
So he probably Did he grow up in Chicago?
Pennsylvania, I think.
Pennsylvania? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's been living in fucking Arizona longer than he ever lived in Chicago, probably.
It's got to be tough for him to come up to Illinois in March when he's from Arizona. I don't know. I mean, I know they get some cold nights down there, but it's got to kind of suck, right? Yeah. It's still too cold in Illinois in March, especially the beginning of March, like it was this year.
Well, I mean, we had a mild spring here.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty nice.
I used to bring a lot of warm clothing when I would come up, you know, because we'd go outside Lemmings and stand out there 10 minutes, you know. So I decided I'm not going to freeze my ass.
I just remember that time you and Norm stayed with me over at the place I had with Cameron, and he went looking for us in his socks in the snow. It was like that slushy snow too. So it's like as soon as you step in it, your like foot is automatically just soaked. You know, and he's sitting there walking up and down the streets in a pair of socks.
He went out looking for me, and I'm the one who walked him home because he couldn't like sit up in the stool anymore. He was like slumping over and falling
absolutely hammered.
I had to
It was
walk,
his like first time back to Lemmings and shit.
I had to walk him back to your place, which I had to do, and I wasn't happy about it, and then walk all the way back, and it was cold, and, snow, slush. Plus, there were people that were walking in front of us. So you have to understand they were in front of us, and he said to me that those people they're following us, and I said like, well, they're we're we're behind them, unless they're damn good. I don't know how that could be. But yeah, so then Norm got worried about me, and he was out looking for me in front of Jeff's apartment, like in his socks, in the slush on the sidewalk. Like he's worried about me. Don't worry about me. I'm fine. You're the one. Stay inside.
Crazy. That was funny. All right, gentlemen. Well, should we say adieu?
Yes.
Let's call it a wrap.
All
All
right.
right, guys. Well, thanks for coming
Thanks
on.
for coming on, Sean.
Thanks for being
Yep.
here.
Take care.
Yeah. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.